Today on Only Frames, we bring you the final of our Pairs Cup competition, where 7 pairs once stood, now only 2 remain, battling it out to be crowned our first ever Pairs champions on the channel. It's Scott and Chris versus Lou and Joe. That is not Joe. Now, I know I haven't been here for a while, but that's Steve, one of our new players from this year. Unfortunately, on the day, Joe had to be rushed off in an emergency. Do not worry, he didn't get a drink off Brad, because that is enough to make anyone go into cardiac arrest. He had to disappear, and luckily Steve was there to step in, rather than the final be a no-show. So thanks for Steve for taking Joe's spot, and let's hope he's as strong as Joe, who's managed to carry Lou the dog all the way to the final. For any of you who watch the channel regularly, you'll know that is no mean feat. Lou the dog managed to go on a road to dish campaign which lasted about 170 days to it finally got a clearance, and he's gonna need some of those in this final if they have any chance of lifting the trophy. But I've whittled on for long enough. Scott's currently at the table, him and Chris are playing yellows, and we are about to see the man in question himself, the people's champion and hopefully the Pairs champion by the end of this video. It's Lou the dog, and he is playing the red ones. Now, for anyone who hasn't seen how 7 became 2, all the videos still remain available within our YouTube page, so go back and have a watch of them. There is some great stuff and there is some absolute tosh. We took on all kinds of challenges, including car killer, penalty shootouts with restrictions, and all kinds of skill shots, which most of them were uneventful and absolutely abysmal attempts. We're hoping the final offers up a better serving today. Steve's at the table, who I'm yet to see to play. I'm taking a sabbatical this year from the league itself, so I haven't had the opportunity to commentate on Steve or to see what kind of player he is, but I'm hoping he serves me up a festive delight today. Now that we have fireworks and Halloween out the way, we're on the home stretch to Christmas, and our Lou the dog and Steve gonna really deliver a present for all of us today. What will be interesting about this matchup in the final is who would take the captaincy out of Lou and Steve. There was only one real captain when it was Joe and Lou. Joe would always tell Lou what to do, and he would do his best to try and do it. Not always coming out right, but he'd always give it a go, and that's a lovely plant there from Lou. Will having more responsibility really help him to loosen the reins? And will he come out of his shell and we'll see the player that he can potentially be? There is a current Lou dog total which sits at £300. We've donated it all to Angels for Dogs. And throw on top the £100 raised at this competition day. That's £400 going to a great cause. And anyone who doesn't watch the channel regularly, every time you pot a cue ball or you make a howling error like send the cue ball off the table, you have to donate £1 to charity. It's all for a good bit of fun, and we named it the Lou Ball because the man there in the denim jeans, the 3/4 length strides, he is a master of sinking the cue ball from absolutely anywhere. Scott's now coming to the table. He's dressed in purple, but will it rain for him today, or will he be the prince of this Pairs competition? We're 3 minutes in and I still haven't explained the format of this actual final. The rules are simple, it's first to 5. As you can see, each team is consistent of 2 players. We're going to start off with a pairs matchup. We're playing Scotch doubles, so each partner is paired up with each other and you're looking to win the frame. Every time you win a frame, you secure 1 point. The next matchup is going to be player 1 from team 1 playing up against player 1 of team 2, and then so on and so forth. All of the players are going to play singly against each other from each team. Then each time we're going to revert back to a doubles. That is a terrible explanation. All will become clear as this unfolds. I'd explained it greater in the semi-finals. I don't know what is wrong with me today, but I know what's wrong with Lou the dog. He has no ability when it comes to playing pool, but can he prove me wrong here and send one into the middle pocket, which he does very nicely, but that's a terrible cue ball. He's pretty much played a safety. Now, I think in this final, if Steve and Lou are going to have any opportunity to win the match, they're going to really need to dominate these doubles matchups. I don't think they're going to get any change out of Chris, meaning they're also going to need to double down on Scott, which is more likely than either of these two beating Chris. But stranger things have happened in sport. I mean, Leicester won the Premier League, so anything can happen, especially when it comes down to Lou the dog. I mean, I'd have never thought he'd have eventually cleared the table, but he did. And he's going to need to come up with some more magic here. The red doesn't go to the top right. and it doesn't go in the top left either. So what's he going to do? Is it going to be a hit and hope special? No, he's just going to pot their ball. Was that a deliberate foul? It certainly looked like one. He had no intention of playing a skill shot. Was he just trying to cover the yellow? I have no idea what he tried to do there, but I know what he has done. He has given Chris and Scott the easiest of opportunities to take a 1-0 lead. Scott's going to roll this one into the middle, and he's going to leave Chris a shot to take that one down to the bottom left and sink the 8 ball nice and early to lay down a marker and a statement of intent. And I hope this isn't going to be a landslide. On paper it could be, but I'm hoping that Steve and Lou can dig deep and find something from within. We all want to see some drama in this fight. Chris sinks it. They go 1-0 up as we move on to the second matchup, which is Chris versus Lou the dog. Chris is at the table after earlier Lou broke them and they all went up one end, so no doubt this frame has been going on for some time. Chris is playing yellows, Lou the dog is playing reds, and each of the players has 4 balls remaining on the table. Chris taking one of his easier balls, sending it down to the bottom right hand pocket, but he still has a problematic ball towards the top of the table up there covered by Lou the dog's red. How will he look to disturb it? Will he look to play on it? I don't think it goes into any of the pockets, so it looks like he's going to move it, but how's he going to do it from this final yellow? Is there a transition? Is it going to be off 2 cushions, maybe 3, and try and disturb it? Or is he just going to look to get up there and hope for the best and see what unfolds? That was a bit of a hit and hope for Chris, but unfortunately it's not worked out for him. It's a pretty easy escape, but he's not going to be able to pot it from here, meaning that Lou the dog will be back to the table in no time at all, and he's going to have 4 reds for an opportunity to level up this game to a 1 apiece and really defy the odds and get a frame on the board against his biggest rival on their channel, Chris. Chris plays nicely off the 1 cushion, manages to hit his yellow, which he was never going to miss, and sends it slightly further towards that top right hand pocket, putting a bit more pressure on Lou the dog at this visit. He needs to pot, or he needs to get a good cue ball and hide that yellow from Chris, because if he leaves it on, the frame will be over with that 8 ball up the top of the table as well. It looks like he's going to play some snooker here. Yep. No, he's actually tried to pot it, which he does very nicely down to the bottom left. I thought he was just going to play the snooker and try and get ball in hand, a shot and a visit, and try and win the frame in 1 visit. It doesn't look to me as though he's going to be able to clear these out. He's actually asking Chris for his own advice. I'm thinking if he actually rolls this one into the middle, that red up the top goes into the top left, and then it's anybody's game. He's in with a chance. He needs to roll this one in first, so this is all about weight control, which he does very nicely indeed. But is he going to be brave enough to take that red onto the top left while he can actually see it? I don't think he's going to get a better chance, but I think he's going to play down on this ball a bit more conservative, which isn't the worst thing in the world for Lou the dog, because he is a bit gung-ho at times. Is he going to try and pot it though, or is he going to look to play a snooker? If you're playing this one, you might as well have played the snooker, because you're never going to get on that red as nicely as you were, and he's giving Chris the easiest of chances to make it 2-0. I think the biggest issue there for Lou the dog, despite a lack of pulling ability, was his own self-belief. We see it too often from him. He doubted himself. He wasn't ever going to get a better chance to pop that one to the top left as Chris sinks the 8 ball into it. Lou there needed to believe in himself. He had no courage in his convictions, and for that he finds himself 2-0 down. As we move on to the next frame, it's Steve versus Scott. That's £402 going to charity. Scott has ball in hand and he is playing the yellow balls. Now you're really starting to think it's do or die for Steve and Scott already. They're only 2-0 down, but this feels like a massive frame. If Steve can nick it, it's game on. They're still in the tie, but he needs to win it first. Scott's at the table, and it looks like he had a real opportunity there, but he's lost the cue ball. That will be disappointing for him, as I believe that yellow at the top right-hand pocket, that actually goes in. Scott once again is going to come off the cushion, which he'd done very nicely in the semi-finals, but he's unable to do so today. But he gets a very nice cue ball, bringing Steve to the table with 6 reds still remaining. But can he find a good pot to give himself a confidence boost and get himself into this final? He's been out of the cold all day long. He's been sat on the substitutes bench in case an emergency happened, which it happened to do so. But now he needs to deliver. He needs to get into game mode nice and sharp. 3 yellows left for Scott, and he's going to take this one down to the bottom left. He's actually going up the table to take the one towards the top right, but the cue ball's gone too far. He can't see it, and now he's got a world of problems. He's got two he snookered on. He's going to come off the one cushion here, but no doubt, even if he hits it or pots it, which he was unable to do, he's going to be stitched anyway. Bringing Steve to the table with ball in hand, that's a shot and a visit. And hopefully now Steve can solidify his place within this frame and start to build some momentum for himself. Steve with a shot and a visit and ball in hand immediately got down a potted one to the top right, but if I was him I'd have taken that one off that right hand cushion. That appears to be his problem ball. The rest are all there, but it still remains there on the table now. When's he going to get to it and what's he going to look to do with it? No doubt he's going to look to double it, maybe into that middle, but we're not going to get that far as he misses one to the top left hand pocket, bringing Scott back to the table, and surely now from here it's about to be 3-0. Or is it as Scott all of a sudden gets a rush of blood to the head and decides to absolutely level one for no reason whatsoever? He would have been a whole table length away from that yellow ball if it wasn't for the 8 ball slowing down the cue. He reverts to type and plays a safety, which is what he does when it matters most to him. He's Mr. Pragmatism on the daily, but he can't find the snooker. All he could do was flick his yellow out slightly. He probably wanted to do it a bit more than he did. Now he's going to look to flick it out even more, and the safety contest ensues. Steve knocked his one over to the right hand side, meaning his balls are getting worse by the moment. He's going to look to sink this one to the top right. That can only rattle. It comes back out, and is it going to play a snooker? No, he cannot find one. Scott now got this one down to the bottom right, and he sinks it just about into the heart of the hole. He's got the cue ball on that cushion though, and this black is easier, or should I say harder than it needed to be. He can only find a draw, and it's do or die for Steve now. He needs to find 4 very good pots or an exceptional safety. Will he be able to do so? Let's find out as he gets down to take the first of the 4 remaining. And he falls at the first hurdle, and where's that cue ball? There's a loo ball! Making it £403 to charity. And speaking of threes, it's about to be 3-0 as Scott rolls this 8 into the middle, and we move on to the 4th match in this final of our Pairs Cup competition. As we move on to the 4th frame, which is a pairs match once again, I'm starting to get concerned. Is this final going to be a rout? Should Steve have ever stepped in for Joe, or should there just have been a concession? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe and do all that commenting and sharing and all that stuff you do. And while you're there, I might as well point you in the direction of our other social media outlets. We are available on YouTube, of course, as you're watching it on here, on TikTok, on Facebook, and of course on Instagram, where we take on all kinds of shorts and challenges. So don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on all those pages as well for exclusive content to them channels. Lou the dog pots a nice one down to the bottom left, bringing Steve to the table. And can he look to start and find some form? Can they win a frame here? And can they at least put some form of pressure on Scott and Chris as this game goes on? And all of a sudden, this is a real opportunity for them to win a frame. I weren't expecting to see it from here. These 2 reds are out in the open, and so is the 8 ball. Lou just needs to keep his head. But crikey, what has happened? I've gone into darkness. I can't see anything. Lou and Steve won frame 4. We rejoin the start of frame 5. That's a disgrace. What on earth has happened? We were finally going to see Lou the dog win a frame and pot a couple of balls, and Chris mysteriously loses it. What a surprise. I'm calling it out now. There's a conspiracy, but we move on to the 3rd frame. It's 3-1. At least we have some action. At least we have a game on. Can they win another and really start to turn the tide in this final? Chris is at the table and he is playing reds, and this looks like a real chance. He's looking at that red there to see if it goes into the middle, to see if it goes into the top left. That really appears to be the only tricky ball, the only ball standing between him and a 4-1 lead in this final. He's unable to get on it there, so he's going to go down the table and look to take this one to the bottom left. Or is he? It's the only ball you can see. He's going to take it on, but he's looking at where he might like to leave the cue ball. He does indeed sink it, although it did wipe its feet. And does this one go to the top left? If he does, this is going to be a formality. This is going to be 4-1. I have no doubts about that. He's just going to be rolling this one in. He's taking no chances with that cue ball. He didn't get greedy, but will he pay for that, leaving this red longer than it needed to be? This down to the bottom right, as clean as a whistle, and we're about to see 4-1. They're about to be on the hill. He's going down to the bottom left. He sinks it. The 8 ball is in. It's 4-1. It's first to 5. Surely it's over from here, as we bring you the action of Scott versus Lou the Dog, with Scott needing to win this frame to end this match and finally complete the misery. £404 to charity. That is awesome. Let's return to the action. Scott has 1 yellow remaining. He's looking to double it. Surely you should be cutting it in your wally. He can't sink it, and here comes Lou the Dogs with 4 reds on the table, and he needs to sink them all and win the frame for this game to continue. Now, if Lou can take these out, are we going to witness one of the greatest comebacks of all time? It's got me thinking, what are those great comebacks? Immediately springing to mind is Liverpool-Barcelona turning it round at Anfield after being so far behind. Or the miracle of Medina in the Ryder Cup, where Team Europe come from absolutely nowhere to steal the trophy. But do Lou and Steve have that in their locker? On the evidence of today so far, they don't. But as I've said before, stranger things have happened in sport, like Scott actually playing a positional shot. He was unable to do it there, but every now and again, even he gets lucky. He would have been hoping for this yellow to be easier, down to the bottom right-hand pocket. He sends it, it's going towards a hole, but it can only stay up like a whack-a-mole, ready to be dispatched, but it's not good to go as of yet. Bringing Lou to the table, and I said it before, these need to go. They need to start taking their chances. He rolls that one in, but where's the cue ball? Finally, one doesn't sink and it manages to stay on the table, but that's not a great outcome. What can he even do? Does that red maybe chip into the middle? Does that one go to the top left? If it does, it won't be easy. He's wearing out the carpet, wandering around, deciding what he's going to do. And I, for one, have absolutely no idea. Is he going to try and chip that towards the top right-hand hole? He's actually played a safety. What a shot. He's hit Scott with some of his own medicine, but it's a pretty easy escape just off the top cushion. But can Scott get out of it and finally secure this frame and secure a 4-1 lead? No, he can't. Bringing Lou the Dog back to the table with ball in hand. The 3 reds are certainly all there, but the problem is going to be that red closest to the 8 ball. Is he going to look to move it early, use the 3 ball and play it down towards that bottom left? It looks like it is. I don't know why he's played it like that. He's blasted it and actually not thought about trying to clear the table at any point there whatsoever. He might have got lucky and maybe can see that one down to the bottom left. He did get lucky, and now all of a sudden this is a massive chance. This one goes into the middle, run it through, and he's on down to that last red, down into the bottom left-hand pocket. But he's got to remain composed. He needs a smooth cue action. That's pretty good there from Lou the Dog, and he's actually left a great angle to get onto that 8 ball. This now, just roll it in, leave the cue ball and let it do the work itself. You don't need to hit it hard. Why have you done that? You're the most frustrating player in the world. That's such a great chance. And the head rush, the adrenaline rush of finally winning a frame has got to him. I need to compose myself as Lou the Dog here is, as we're about to witness greatness. Are we about to witness a great comeback? Can he sink this 8 just to keep this game alive? If he doesn't, it is all over. The pressure is on. 8 down to the bottom left. He absolutely blasts it. It's nowhere near. Is it in this zone? What a fluke. What a fluke to stay in the game. He holds his hand up, but he isn't sorry in the slightest. That is a disgrace that he missed it by so much. It's great that he got lucky because this game continues. Scott's at the table as we move on to another pairs encounter. Could that fluke from Lou the Dog really be the changing of the guard within this final? They were out of sight, they were nowhere near, they were also rans, but all of a sudden they've got 2 frames on the board. If they can win this one here, surely they'll have the momentum and they will start to believe that anything is possible, as Will Young once said. That's a pretty good shot from Lou there. Maybe Steve got into his ear and explained to him what he wanted from him. They've got 5 5 yellows remaining, and they're all there. The only tricky one surely is the one by the 8, but that goes nicely into the left-hand middle. This is all about composure, which Lou the dog is not known for. He's stretching over here, just roll it in. Why are you queuing up so hard? Just a little tap in, thank you very much. He was queuing as though he was going to bash it. There was absolutely no need. Now Steve's going to play this one to the top right. Surely the cue ball's just going to swing round off the top cushion. Pretty nice. It's still an opportunity, but which way do they go about it? Do they take the one on the right or the left? I'd be taking the one on the right for sure, but I do not know what these two are going to do. Yep, he's going to take the one on the right. He's going to roll that into the middle, and hopefully he can get on that one by the 8 ball and get a third frame onto the scoreboard. This would be epic. Steve is getting down on the shot, and this shot feels crucial for how this game is going to unfold. Going forward, and he knocks it in lovely and gets a lovely tap on the 8 as well. That's now in a great position, but what's Lou going to do with the cue ball to try and get Steve a shot on the 8 and a chance to get another frame on the board? He blasts it, rattles it off the jaws. I have no idea what he was actually attempting, but the outcome is phenomenal. Steve's got a shot. He's got one to the top right to make it 4-3, to only have one frame in it. I can't believe what I'm seeing. They fist pump, 2 worlds collide. Are we witnessing greatness? We move on to the 8th frame. Chris and Scott have been on the hill forever, and Steve and Lou the dog, I'm forgetting their names, are making a great comeback. But can they continue to make a fist of it? Lou the dog is at the table, and he is playing the yellow balls. As we join the action, the yellows are in a pretty good spot. His only real tricky one is the one on the right hand side, but it goes down to the bottom right hand pocket. This could be a real chance for Lou the dog to level it up at 4 apiece. He's going to play this one into the middle, I believe, by the way he's queuing. Can he sink it into that bag? He can indeed. This is a real chance, and this is looking like a new Lou the dog. Is Steve a great foil for Lou? Lou has seemed better than ever with Steve as his partner. When he's with Joe, he's just carried along. Is the responsibility really something that Lou needs to thrive under these conditions? Can he continue, though, to pot these balls? He's going to look to send this one down to the bottom left. Once again, a pretty good shot from Lou the dog there. I don't think he's on that one down to the bottom right. No, he's moved round. He certainly isn't. So he's going to have to take these 2 at the top of the table. Will he look to plant it, or will he just look to play the one over the hole and bring it back out and get onto that other ball? He's looking to play the plant. Can he hold the cue ball, though? Where's the cue ball going to go? Nobody knows, especially Lou the dog. He's managed to swing it round, though, and he can still see it. And once again, I've said it before, I've said it a million times, this is a real chance. But I believe this is a lack of bottle shot. He doesn't believe in his positional capabilities. He's taking this one here. It's not the shot for me, but he's managed to send it towards the hole. Chris is coming back, and he is in a world of trouble. Is he going to lose to Lou the dog? And are we going to see a final frame decider? Chris is at the table. He's playing reds, where 3 of them still remain. Now, if you'd have asked me to make a prediction on the outcome of this game before the final started, I would have probably guessed 5-1 to Chris and Scott. I did not see a scenario where Lou and Steve, they managed to get 3 frames on the board, and not only that, they've got a chance to get 4, 2 yellows over the hole, and they're black in the open. The 8 ball just needs to be sunk, and we've got ourselves a final frame shootout. I didn't think we'd see the likes today. Lou rolls that one in nicely, and here he's going to shut his eyes, I'll tell you now, and hope for the best positionally. He has no idea where he's going to sink this 8 ball after he's potted this yellow. He's chewing down on it. Is he going to do a little bit of screw and tie and take it down into the middle? It looks like it has, and if it goes, this is perfect. What are we witnessing? This is some comeback. 8 to the middle to make it 4-4 to see a final frame decider in the Pairs Cup competition. Come on, Lou the dog. Fist pumps once again as we make our way to the final frame. Steve is to break, and who is going to be our first ever Pairs Cup champions? Stay tuned to find out. From something that appeared would be tepid, we have ourselves a boiling point in the action of this game now. Steve is at the table and him and Lou, the dog from absolutely nowhere, have got themselves an opportunity to be our first ever doubles partnership. Our champions, they didn't even start the day together. Lou was with Joe, but Joe had to go, and Steve has been an adequate replacement, if not better than Joe. He's managed to get Lou to play levels of pool we've never seen before. Steve was unable to pot that, and Scott's coming to the table. How will he be feeling? They were 4-1 up. They had it sewn up, but they managed to let it go. Will they now really kick into gear and hammer this home and clear the table at this visit? Who was actually... Oh, it's singles. I thought we were on the doubles. This is Scott versus Steve for the title. Man, Steve's probably favourite. I mean, Scott's at the table. I thought we had doubles action to finish. I've lost the plot of what's going on. Lou the dog beating Chris has messed with my energies. I can't actually believe it. As Scott fouls, Steve has a real chance. I can't fathom what's gone on here. They are now favourites. Steve and Lou the dog are favourites. Looking at these balls here with Scott having just fouled and Steve having the ball in hand. I can't actually believe what I'm witnessing. I'm lost for words. As Steve owns up to a foul in a crucial moment. He's feathered the cue ball. How honest of him. In the battle out there, the intensity of the final, the cauldron that is this Green Bay's final. He's owned up to a foul that nobody else saw. But can Scott capitalise on it? Can Scott punish him for his honesty, showing that good guys never come first? Scott certainly isn't a good guy, but Steve certainly was there. He pots another red, and now only 3 remains. And like Thanos, this is looking inevitable. Red here into the middle, and he's going to have one up to the top right. It's all just about position. It looks like he got a heavy contact there. He wanted to roll the cue ball a bit further over to make this 8 even easier. He's managed to sink the red though, and this is an 8 for the title. Calm down, lock in. Scott's going to take it on. And the pressure's too much for him. That's nowhere near. His cue action has let him down when it matters most, bringing Steve to the table with 5 yellows still on, and he'll fancy his chances. Steve holding his nerve nicely here, pots one down to the bottom left, and he's on to his next. Obviously, he does have a problem ball. The yellow on the middle of that left-hand side cushion. Can he get it out here? No, he can't. And he has left an opportunity for Scott. Scott loves a double. He couldn't drink bomb, but can he pot one? He can't pot it double, and it almost went for a treble, but the yellow's in the way, and Steve gets another chance to come to the table. What can he come up with here? Can he sink this one to the top right? Will he be thinking about playing a snooker of some description? Has he feathered the white again? If he did, I'm sure he'd own up. He'd done it before. This is high level drama. The tension, you can sense it from here. I mean, I'm watching this months after it unfolded, I assume, as everyone's in shorts and t-shirt. And Steve's knocking that in lovely. That's a great double. He didn't even think about twice leaving. He didn't worry about where the cue ball was. That's a sign of a good player. He has confidence in his ability. But was his confidence too much there, or has he found a stitch? He's left Scott the edge. Can Scott finally sink it? So far today, this bottom right hasn't drawn in well, and his skill continues to elude him. He can't pot down into that hole. That's the first shot he's had on that 8 ball. Will he get another, or will Steve finally take out one of these chances? He sinks one to the top left, and now only 2 yellows remain. This is going down to the wire like the final part of a major. This, after everything that's unfolded, we've got ourselves a final frame shootout. Are we going to have ourselves an 8-ball shootout? As Steve pots another one, now only 1 yellow remains. I did not for a second think that we were going to see a black ball shootout of 4 apiece when this game begun, but it's looking ever more likely. What is Steve going to do here though? The shot with no pressure on it, I personally think, is to try and nail this yellow down to the bottom left. You're going to be naturally on the 8 ball, but that's the problem. That's what's in the back of your mind. If I miss it, I'm gone. What will Steve do? He's putting a bit of screw in it. I don't think he believes that he can pot it. He doesn't. He's jabbed it hit. There was no float there, and he's given Scott the easiest of chances. Doubt crept into Steve's game at the wrong moment completely. Scott rolls it into the middle and himself and Chris are going to be crowned our pairs champions. It looked like it was going to be easy, but there was drama for days to end with it. Lou and Steve put up a great show. What a fight!